Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now.
All right, how many of you guys ever bought something at Amazon.com? Everybody has. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people certainly have. Most people don't realize that Amazon has been a pioneer in the web services frontier, and a web service is defined, well, loosely as a way that a third party could access data that a site owner has. So Amazon, they have these things called web services, and that allows developers to create applications through which those applications could read and interact with elements that Amazon has in a safe fashion. And this is how Web 2.0 kind of evolved, or at least the idea of Web 2.0 is the free exchange of data and using web services or exchanges of information in a very highly structured fashion. Well, Amazon is taking it a step further and not just let developers and users access the information inside of Amazon's database to develop applications, but they've developed really powerful web services upon which websites can be launched and built and scale to the degree that they need to scale. And this question was asked earlier today from Just Curious, that is his handle in the chat room. Hey Chris, what is this noise about S3 and EC2? Do you think this is going to stay? Well, first of all, he's talking about a couple of Amazon's web services, S3, which stands for Simple Storage Service, and EC2, which is Elastic Computing Cloud. No wonder they call them S3 and EC2. The S3, Simple Storage Service, is what a lot of websites are using for image storage. Now, have you ever gone to, let's say, Twitter, and you see that all those buddy icons are loading, but they're not loading directly from twitter.com, they're loading from an amazon.com URL that has S3 in it? It's because those images are stored on Amazon servers, and this saves bandwidth costs for at least Twitter in that case, and of course other websites that use S3 to store things like images, videos, etc., 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 to keep their costs low, because bandwidth isn't expensive. But Amazon, well, they're Amazon, so they've got they have the ability to demand and command lower pricing. They can buy in bulk, and when you buy in bulk, you save in price. Of course, I'm still using toilet papers that I purchased 18 years ago at Costco because I bought bulk was too much. Anyway, that's S3, the Elastic Computing Cloud, or EC2. It relates to not the storage side of things, but rather the computing side of things, the server side, the processing power. So, for instance, if you've got a website and you're afraid that you're going to get tons of traffic, well, if you've rented a server, then you only have you can only go as far as that server can handle, or as many users as that server can handle. But if you build that website and have hooks into EC2, this elastic computing cloud that will grow when you need it to grow. So let's say you've got a site and it gets on Dig and it just dies because it can't handle the traffic. Well, if you set up a hook into Amazon's elastic computing cloud, as you get more traffic, the EC2 kicks in, and suddenly that spike in traffic is accommodated. So your site doesn't go down, it stays up. And some people use EC2 as a backup mechanism, so in case their web host goes down, they can at least serve their information from EC2, or the Elastic Computing Cloud that Amazon gives them through the web service, so that their site doesn't actually go down. It's just their web server, their original web server, go down, and the backup plan, the contingency plan, is on Amazon's EC2 service, if I understand this correctly. And again, that's EC2 and S3. They both provide different features for website owners and developers in general. And Amazon, I think, is to be congratulated and commended for doing things like this that have really helped young websites grow. Now, this isn't a free service. You have to pay for as much bandwidth or as much CPU cycles or as much storage as you use, but it's still going to be hella cheaper to do it this way than it is to buy your own server and having to maintain it all the time. These should be seen as augmentative devices. Hopefully I didn't just coin a new phrase there, but they should be used in augmentation of what you already have in place. So hopefully it is going to save you money and resources, and you can continue to push forward with your own ideas and developing the websites you want to develop using Amazon's web services for your own stuff, or you could use Amazon's other web service that allows you to access the data in case you ever wanted to build your own shopping cart store and you wanted to use the information that's in Amazon. Amazon's doing all sorts of wonderful things for independent developers, and I hope to see more coming from them. This is definitely a pioneering effort, and again, I gotta thank him, gotta hand it to him. So the next time you see Jeff Barr, you give him a pat on the back, okay? And if you don't know who Jeff Barr is, well, then you just don't know a lot about Amazon's web services. You might need to know. Is it around for the permanent future that we can see? Permanent future as opposed to the temporary future. What's all the noise? Is it going to stay? Yeah, I think it's going to stay. And if not by Amazon, then certainly other companies who understand that this really helps. It does help. So if you've got any bits of helpful advice in terms of using S3 or EC2, now granted, most of the videos that we do don't relate to these developer-heavy concepts, but if I didn't explain them as accurately as I possibly could have, I apologize. I'm trying to dumb it down and present these concepts in layman's terms. Layman's terms, not lame man's terms, which of course I am for buying that much toilet paper a few years ago. If you want to buy my toilet paper, just come by the chat room and let me know. Live.pirillo.com.